Hello everyone, today I'm taking a look at the Feiyu Pocket. This is a handheld 4K gimbal camera. Inside the box you get paperwork, the camera itself, a USB-C cable, the carrying case. Here is a better look at the camera. On the right here you have your power button. I think it's a very stupid place to put the power button because when it's in the carrying case, the power button is still accessible if you hit the strap too hard. I have heard it multiple times when it's just in my bag or in my pocket. Something can easily just push that button and then it's turned on. And then it's on in the case, which is stressing out the motors. So the microphone is over here, next to the record button and the mode button. Here you have your USB-C charging port, your SD card slot. There is a tripod mount at the bottom. On the back is the battery, but it doesn't really seem like it's made to be removed with these types of screws holding it in place. Finally, up top you have your 3-axis gimbal and your lens over here. So obviously to turn on the device you just hold it. Now this defaults to whatever mode you were last using, and there are 3 modes. So in pan, everything is locked, other than rotation. In follow, now you can rotate up and down, along with panning, but the horizon is still locked. And in all follow, you can pan, you can also pan up or down, and now the horizon is not locked anymore. Alright, so pressing the mode will switch between all 3 modes. Pressing the record button will start a recording. Pressing it again will stop. If you hold the record button, this enables Wi-Fi, and you can connect with your smartphone. In my opinion, there's not much point connecting to the smartphone other than to synchronize time. There's pretty much all the controls you need already on the camera. For the touchscreen controls, if you swipe to the left, you can access your recording modes. And if you swipe once more, you get access to your resolution. It starts out as low as 4K 25 and can max out at 4K 60. If you swipe to the right, you get to view your gallery. Swiping up is for quick settings. This is a recenter. This one is a 180-degree flip for selfie mode. This controls how smooth your panning is, so how much it smooths out your rapid movements. You can set it to motion, which is as fast as possible, and smooth, which is a lot slower. Better for viewing. In the bottom right, this is a toggle to switch between modes. Again, I don't know why they're doubling up on these buttons, but whatever, right? So again, you have follow, all follow, pan. Now they have an extra mode here called face tracking, but this is just pan with a little gimmick where they try to track your face. I've tried it out. I don't think it works too well. You need to move really slowly around the camera for it to keep track of your face. If you move too fast, it will lose track. Sometimes it just loses track for no reason. I don't really like using it. Lastly, if you swipe down, you get to access your full settings. Quality, this is to access your full settings. So this is for the display. You can access the full screen if you want. I don't really like doing that. I like seeing my video settings a lot easier. I enjoy the black bars. There's something called a Pro mode as well. In the Pro mode, you get access to additional settings like color temperature, exposure, white balance, and volume. And finally, the brightness of the screen. So I was able to get around an hour and 15 of 4K 30 video with this thing. I think that's pretty solid battery life. Alright, I think that covers it. Let's look at some video from this thing. Starting off with the positives, this is pan 4K 30. And when it works quite well. Simple panning shots like these become effortless to do.
you move around, it's capable of creating these wonderfully smooth videos.
No, this isn't aligned with the skyline, but it is aligned with that bucket street.
At the end of this clip, I switch over to follow mode in order to pan down to the crowd below. So here's all follow mode. While it does give you the most manual input, it's not very stable, and it certainly isn't as stable as pan. I don't really like using all follow mode. It can record time lapses, but they're extremely simple. There's no smoothing applied. It's a little too jittery for my liking. So that was the camera in ideal conditions. Let's look at some non-ideal conditions, starting with low light. It struggles a lot in low light environments. You should not use this camera in any low light situations. While it is capable of high frame rate modes, it sacrifices too much detail and the end result looks rather grainy. Here's a direct comparison between this shot I took in 2K 30fps and this one that I took in 2K 60fps. This was recorded in 4K 60, and I thought maybe I'm being too harsh, so I decided to ask my dad for his opinion on this. And he thought it was gameplay footage from Red Dead Redemption 2's first person mode. On one hand, that's a massive compliment because it's so stable in an uncanny sort of way, but on the other hand, the resolution is so bad that it looks like it was rendered in a game engine. Now onto actual problems with the device. In certain lighting conditions, I get these really annoying flares when I pan around, making this clip absolutely useless. I don't know how they messed this up, but this camera can't keep track of the date properly. I walked to San Fran on August 1st, but the date stamp for the video is July 22nd. Even though I made sure to synchronize the clock when starting out, it quickly loses track and now it shifts to a day before randomly. This doesn't make any sense. A major issue with this device is that it can't keep track of the horizon properly, which is kind of its only purpose. As I round the bend here, it loses track of the horizon. It's a bit subtle, but you can notice it if you look towards the ceiling beams. Even though I don't like using all follow mode, I find myself using it most often, because at least I have the horizon correct. If I switch over to pan, it's completely off axis.
Overall, I really wanted to like this, but it just isn't there yet. When it works, it's pretty good, but it only works around a third of the time. Most of the time, it's going to be off axis. Sometimes it's like 1 or 2 degrees, it's not too bad, but occasionally I'll get the very abhorrent ones where it's like, this is absolutely unusable. I can always take half a minute to recalibrate it, but it's supposed to be convenient. I'm not supposed to be calibrating it every time I want to use it. I love the form factor, but the stabilization isn't there, and the quality for 60 FPS also isn't there at all. As it stands, I don't really recommend you buying this.